right, here it is, my favorite segment of the morning. Real or just a hoax? The question comes up whenever UFOs are mentioned, but now some new support that may surprise you. Tomorrow, former military personnel are speaking out for the first time on camera about their personal experiences with UFOs in Washington, D.C.
Well, here's something you don't see or hear very often. Former Air Force officers held a press conference today in Washington, D.C. Over 120 retired military personnel warn of a quote-unquote ongoing and alarming intervention by unidentified, get this, aerial objects at nuclear weapons sites.
I believe, these gentlemen believe, that this planet is being visited by beings from another world who, for whatever reason, have taken an interest in the nuclear arms race which began at the end of World War II. Documents released via the Freedom of Information Act confirm that these types of incidents have occurred going back to 1948. The documents describe saucer-shaped objects whose capabilities are vastly beyond anything that we have, the Russians have. I think the logical explanation is we're dealing with visitors from somewhere else. Regardless, there are a number of cases now. I've interviewed over 120 former or retired Air Force personnel who've talked about UFO incursions at missile sites, at nuclear weapons storage areas. The incident at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana in 1967 did involve the appearance of a saucer-shaped object above a nuclear missile launch site. Seconds later, all 10 of these missiles controlled by this site malfunctioned. And the two officers involved, including former Captain Bob Salas, who was at the press conference on Monday, by the way, testified that he was sworn to secrecy and told never to discuss this. He kept his silence until 1996. All the gentlemen who appeared with me at the press club believe the American people have a right to know the facts.
Now, the United Nations is getting ready for a contact with aliens from outer space. This is Moslin Offerman. She's out of Malaysia. She will be planet Earth's first interstellar diplomat.
Here's the rationale. Sometime later this year, maybe early next year, astronomers will announce that we have discovered Earth-like twins in outer space. And when we gaze out the night sky, somebody may be gazing back at us.
A team of planet hunters led by astronomers at the University of California in Santa Cruz and the Carnegie Institution of Washington has announced the discovery of a planet orbiting a nearby star.
When it comes to the point and there's no tomorrow, when everything you own is more or less borrowed, when it comes to the point and there's no tomorrow, when everything you own is more or less borrowed, will you be walking in my shoes? Will you be walking in my shoes? And seize the day, hang on every word, but don't you hesitate until it all fades away. You should have known this from the beginning, but holding it back is worse than giving. Will you be walking in my shoes? Will you be walking in my shoes? When it comes to the point and there's no tomorrow, when everything you own is more or less borrowed, when it comes to the point and there's no tomorrow, and everything you own be there in time. You know that so well, so well. Will you be walking in my shoes? Will you be walking in my shoes?
I noticed the satellite's positionings. I said, now this is supposed to be a system that tracks radar anomalies on Earth, right? You know, the whole thing, the movement. Yep, that's what it does. And I said, well, why are half of them pointed towards the outer space? Towards the moon, towards areas that are just blank space? Well, I don't know, was the reply. He says, never thought about it. He says, well, at least half of those satellites you got up there aren't looking at Earth. I said, what are they looking for? He says, well, you got to have need to know about that. I said, I see. In other words, who's coming? He says, we don't know. About end of subject.
Ever since I got involved with John Leonard Wilson, I always now look at the Big Dipper in a totally different way. I can't wait to have people all over the world seeing them. The great thing about the interstellar starships is we know where they are. With those kinds of velocities, and with the capability of being able to effortlessly change and transform, it takes an enormous amount of energy. What kind of alloys are they made of that allows them to transform and retract at these velocities in deep space?